right? And so she looks at me and she goes, "Uncle, are you Micronesian?" I said, "I'm not, but I also represent you guys." She goes, "Oh, one day I want to be like you."
Aww.
Like, I'm like, bruh, like that paid for it right there.
Yeah. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Deep Podcast. I'm your host, Starr Sua, and we have a very special episode today. Let me bring in my co-hosts in the building, Kaleo. Again, welcome back to the show, Kaleo. Well, obviously, you're part of the show, so why am I saying welcome back?
Oh, welcome back.
You guys already know what it is. We always dive deep into different topics. We talk about anything and everything. And as you guys notice, we always bring in some guests, different walks of life, and getting their perspective on their life and, you know, their experiences and all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode with the firefighter with Jake. You know, that was a great episode. Actually, the week before that, last week was just me and Kaleo. This week, we got a very special guest. He is part of the Honolulu Police Department. He is also a DJ and a wedding host and a wedding planner and everything that you could think of. My guy, Mr. Don Faumuina in the building.
Oh, what up? What up? What up? You just downgraded. Yeah, you went from firefighter to policeman. I'm sorry. So we'll see where we go with here. We'll see where we go with this. Sorry, we'll see.
Hey, I'm glad that you're here, man. I appreciate you jumping on. I know it was kind of last minute, but you know, you be able to make the time. And I think you work tonight, do you?
Yeah, I work tonight, but such is life. It's fine.
Such is
Right?
life.
Well, the saying goes, if it's important, you find a way. If it's not, you find an excuse. So I'm here. Let's do this. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's
Oh,
go.
that was good.
Yeah.
You like that? You like that?
I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. I Googled it right before we started.
Yes.
He's cheating. He's cheating.
No,
He's
I
going ahead of the outline. Oh man, yo! But again, Don, thank you so much for joining us on the Welcome to the Deep podcast. Hey, if you guys are here for the first time, if you guys are on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so that you guys don't miss any episode, which airs every Wednesday. And we're gonna get back to the show. So, Kaleo, any words for Mr. Don before we officially get started?
I'm just excited to hear a lot more about him because this is my first time meeting. So I'm excited and honored to get this opportunity.
Yes, sir. Don, any words?
No, I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and let's do this. Super excited. Super excited.
Let's go. So first question obviously is going to be, who are you, sir? Where you come from? You know, what culture are you? You got family and all that stuff. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, great question. So it was a dark and stormy night. No. So I'm Samoan. I currently live in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm the oldest of 6 children. So I was born in Samoa and then moved to Hawaii when I was 4 years old, and then all my siblings were born here. So I'm the only alienated one that was born in the motherland, and all my siblings here. I grew up in Kalihi. For those of you that know where Kalihi is, it's synonymously known as like the hood. I'm a proud graduate of Farrington High School. I am also a product of the welfare system, and I've learned many things throughout my life and been able to travel the world because of choices, decisions, and I've been very blessed to do so many things because of just different opportunities, which we'll talk about. So super grateful to be here. I'm married to my lovely wife, Bella. We've been married for 23 years. I've known her since we were 13 years old. We have 3 children, and our 2 boys and our oldest daughter that lives in Utah. And I'm a grandfather. My grandson's coming to Hawaii in about a month, and we're going to celebrate his 1-year baby luau. So
Nice.
super proud and happy about that. Yeah.
Yay.
Yes.
What is the theme for the party?
you know, it's always, you know, what she wants. And so she's like, just make it a luau. So like, oh, boring. But yeah, it's going to be a luau. Because if it was me, it would be like, it would be hip hop dancers. It would be fire knife dancers. It would be all these different things. But she wants it low key. So like, all right.
Well, there's no like, I don't know, cartoon theme or whatever, like for the favors or no theme at all, just regular
No.
party.
No, just regular. Yeah.
Plain old Jane.
It's plain, especially when you got to pay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the next segment. And just like every guest episode that we've had, we always play this game called Questions Roulette. And we are going to ask them a series of questions, 10 questions in under a minute. And if it goes over the time, then it goes over the time. It's whatever. So we're going to ask Don 10 questions and we're going to see, you know, we're going to get to know him a little bit more.
Wait, do I win a prize?
Oh, you win a...
No, being on a podcast is the prize. Hello, yeah, let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go.
Golf clap.
So, golf clap. Or some laughs. You don't know.
Laughs are always great.
Yeah.
So, okay. So to start off then with, if you could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Chicken.
Chicken. Just
Yeah.
plain chicken.
No, like
Okay.
shoyu chicken. Shoyu
Ooh.
chicken.
Oh, shoyu chicken.
I'm a
Okay,
local
okay.
boy. Yeah, shoyu
Well,
chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Braveheart.
Okay. Would you rather be a superhero or a villain?
I would rather be a villain.
Really?
Yeah, because I could. Yeah, there's no rules.
Oh.
Okay. If you could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, what song would it be?
It would be. I don't know why the artist escapes me. It's actually an instrumental. Lee Oscar, Before the Rain.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Classic housing song. That's a classic housing Samoan ghetto song right there.
Okay, so then what would be your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, it's actually my mother's favorite song. It's from Anne Murray, and the song is called "Could I Have This Dance?"
Oh.
I know that song. That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
I would rather talk to animals. That way, if I get stranded, I can just call somebody to pick me up. Well, you would be able to do that in any language too. But yeah, never mind. Animals are much nicer. Animals.
What's your favorite childhood memory then?
My favorite childhood memory is me being together with my siblings.
Special moment.
Yes.
Hmm. What's your dream car?
You're going to laugh at this. My dream car is a Mini Cooper.
You're lying.
You
Bro,
are
I'm not even kidding, bro. Ask my wife. It's a Mini Cooper. I don't know why, but it
like
is.
full decked out, Cooper.
Like Cooper. Yeah, it has to be yellow with some black stripes somewhere because I'm a hardcore Steeler fan.
Okay.
Right? Like, yeah, it just has to be yellow. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh man.
All right, who's your favorite artist or band?
My favorite band. Ooh.
You know, picture yourself in your little mini coupe. What do you listen to with your favorite?
My favorite artist would have to be Bruno Mars.
Okay.
Okay.
Local boy.
Last question. Would you rather be friends with Kaleo or Starr?
Oh, definitely the both of you. Kaleo.
Hey, it's a would you rather. Oh, I heard you at the last second.
Oh, 1 point.
Hey, I already got a point because I already asked him to be on a podcast before, so I already got that.
True.
Oh,
You
we need a
got that on
tiebreaker.
me
We need a
already.
tiebreaker.
Well, that was the final question. That was some pretty solid answers.
Yeah, impressed. Wait,
best
can I
part
ask
is
one
not.
more?
Yeah, go. The best part is I didn't like not knowing these questions. I love it.
If you were to have any superhero power, what would it be?
Flying.
Oh my gosh.
Flying.
Why does everybody want to fly?
I didn't want to fly. I wanted teleportation.
I wanted super
Ooh.
speed.
You want a super speed. Either way, we want to get places very fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you do super speed, Star, Yeah. Okay. Sorry. This is a family show. Okay. Moving on. Yes. Yeah.
I think I know where you're going to, but
I think we all know.
I thinking.
Yeah. I don't
But
know. It's
you know what
fun.
threw me a curveball was the one song that you would listen to the rest of your life. I would be like, wow, I never would have thought of that. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with that and not even knowing the artist or even the name of the song. And so like when I became a DJ, the first thing I was like, I gotta look up this song. It's called
Yeah.
because it's all harmonic. Yeah, it's a harmonic.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. It's so hilarious. Yeah.
Kaleo, did I ever ask you that? What song would you listen to for the rest of your life?
No, I don't think you did ask me that one.
I think whoever's listening, I already said this in my previous episode, but you guys didn't, or you guys don't know. So mine would be "Purple Rain" by Prince.
No way.
Yeah,
I did know
That's
that.
interesting.
I did know that.
Wow.
Honestly, mine, because it holds a very near and dear, like sentimental value to me. It's "If" by Bread.
Bread. I love it.
Ooh.
It
It's
was
such
one
a
of the
great song.
first re-recordings that I ever did for my parents for an anniversary. And yeah, so it's a very special song for me.
It's a great song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most
Not many
definitely.
people of my generation know that song.
I'm actually really impressed, Kaleo. That you would choose that. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I love it.
I know that song, and I'm probably the youngest here.
You are the youngest here. Don't rub it in.
Yeah, you are.
Hey, but
And then-
I look your guys' age because everybody always say I look old.
You don't look old. Ugh, move
Yeah.
on.
I know.
I literally just got that from my own wife. She was like, you look like you're like 36. I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, okay. So you look my age.
Well, that while the two of you are arguing, wait till you become my age, and where every reference is, "Hey, uncle, how's it, uncle?"
Hey, I get uncle too already because all the freaking my in-laws have had their kids and cousins get kids, so I get uncle already.
Wait, so do you know how old I am? Did I tell you, Starr?
Mm,
Kaleo, I don't know if you
about
know.
to ask.
I think
Yeah.
you told me 37.
Oh man, yes. Yeah.
Oh,
So close. Take a guess, Kaleo. Take a guess.
I would say early 40s.
Oh, I love you so much, sis. So kind. I will be 52 in July.
No way.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be 52 in July.
Oh,
yeah.
you know what? I'm so dumb. I totally forgot. My
Hello, your mom.
I totally forgot. Oops.
Yeah, and maybe you might want to share that with your viewers before we started.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, guys, that it's such a small world, and in Hawaii we always say how it's such a small island, but just in the whole world in general, like when you meet people from different walks of life, and then you see them later down the line, or you see family members of them later down the line, you just like this world is actually pretty small.
Yeah.
It really is. There's a saying that goes, there's 6 degrees of separation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term.
Not me.
If you're not, what it is let's say, right, Starr, you and I, we meet each other for the first time, or Kaleo, same thing with you, right? And as we're talking story, we know someone that knows someone that knows someone 6 down the line that actually know each other, right? So that's the 6 degrees of separation. In Hawaii, in Polynesia, it's more like 2.
Exactly.
Because it's like, hey, what's your name? Wait, what's your last name?
Exactly.
Where do you live? Where do you come? Like, what's your parents' name?
Yeah.
And then you figure out, like, oh yeah, I know them. Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
That's the common thing, right? All of those, and then the other one in Hawaii too is, oh, what school you went?
Yeah. What high school you went? What high school you grabbed?
Yo, that just happened to me because I just started working for this this company that helps blind people, and I think it was like probably the 3rd person that I met. My other coworkers was like, oh, he's from Hawaii too, and we shook hands. We're like, oh, how's it, brother? How you doing? And then first thing he said, oh, what school did you go? Literally the first thing. And I said, oh, I went to St. Louis. And he goes, bro, me too. Holy shit.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I would think more for the two of you because because you live on a continent, like when you see another person that's from Hawaii, you know, like you meet them, you're very proper in your English, and then you meet somebody and you go full on mock.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh,
Full
sup, brother? Sup, cuz? Right? And everyone's looking at you like, what are you saying? Like, oh no, it's a Hawaii thing.
Yeah.
Like, what's up? How you, bro?
Yeah.
So awesome.
Exactly. I'm sure, Kaleo, you have that all the time. Every time I come into your stream, you always like your accent
like
just
that?
turns on.
There's always something. I'm just like, wait.
Oh man.
Like anytime I go back over to the islands though, like it comes right back and it's thick. And anybody I talk to over here, they're like, Kaleo, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah. It's like a light bulb. You turn it off and on when you have to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And by the way, Pidgin is an official language.
Yes.
So when people say, "Do you speak any language?" Yeah, I speak Pidgin. You're like, "What is that?" Oh, it sounds like this. Now, yeah, it's Pidgin.
Not literally.
Like Cardi B speaks Pidgin.
Imagine, right? You tell them, "Oh, I speak Pidgin," and they're like, "Literally? No."
Like, no, brah.
Oh, cause you like on slap before.
What did you say? Yeah, that's Pidgin.
Yeah, exactly. But let's get on with the show, guys. You know, sorry, you can tell already if you guys are watching. You can tell us local people, especially from Hawaii. You know, when we get talking, we just get talking.
Yep.
But yeah, you said a little bit about yourself. You're from Hawaii, and part of the, or I said it first. You're part of the Honolulu Police Department. So, when did you decide, and why did you decide to become a police officer?
Yeah, that's always a fun story to share. So, like I mentioned earlier, I grew up in a public housing system. So in Hawaii, when I started off over in Palolo Valley. And then when I was 12 years old, I migrated a little bit more west into Kalihi. And I lived in KPT, which is an acronym that we make fun of called Kill People Tonight, which is AKA Cohill Park Terrace. And then I migrated a little bit north up in the valley of Kalihi, up in the beautiful mountain/hills of Camp 4 housing, right? Which I grew up in. The saying is when you run away from the police for so many years, somehow things turn around and before you know it, you're part of the police. I worked at a law firm, and as a messenger, and so there was about 8 or 9 of us that would work from different law firms, and we would meet at the courthouse, file papers, and deliver them to different opposing counsels. And just one day, just randomly, one of my messenger buddy was like, "Hey, HPD's has an open enrollment. Let's go out and try." So we went. So there were 8 of us, and we all applied, and we made a bet to see who can make it the furthest. Because none of us like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna make it." Like, no way, right? And so we all applied, and I just kept passing, and I kept passing, and before you knew it, I was in the academy. And so out of the 8 of us, I was the first one to get into the academy, and then I graduated. That was in 23 years ago. That was in 2000. And then 3 of my other buddies that were messengers for different law firms joined the department several years after. So out of the 8 of us, 4 of us made it, and the other 4 just kind of stuck to their own and did their own things. And so, yeah, just by chance. It wasn't I always want to become a cop. Not at all. But it's amazing how, those of you that believe in a higher being, it's amazing how God will set a specific path, and when you listen, he answers. And so here I am today. Yeah.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to be in the police department, I think twice, and the last time that we talked,
Yeah.
I thought it was because of my last name, but who knows? Things could have happened or whatever. But I didn't even get a chance to go and take the test. Like I just put in my app, and I just never heard back from anything. So I don't know how that works. Or maybe I put an app wrong. I don't know.
I can tell you why, Starr. It's because they saw you and they thought you were too old. No, that's so unfortunate, man. I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry to hear that, bro. Like, for real.
It's all good. I mean, it's one of those things, right? When you're coming out of Hawaii and when you're growing up as a kid, especially a male kid, right? There's limited options to what you could do to try and be successful or whatever. Either, and you know that saying that goes, you got to know somebody, right, to get a good job or whatever. Or the other option is go the sports route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like us, especially being a Samoan, tried to go the sports route, and one thing led to another, and sadly, I stopped playing, and the next thing I thought was, oh, I went to St. Louis. A lot of St. Louis alumni are cops. Okay, I'll go be a cop because one, I also want to help my community, and two, I think I would, be a good fit for it. And so I tried, and that's why I tried. So
Yeah, it's funny you say that because there's a stigma that you see a Polynesian and many times automatically they think, oh, so what? So you play football, and so I would get that a lot, and I never played sports because I was the oldest of 6 children, and my parents were immigrants from Samoa. I actually had to go to work, so I started working at the age of 14. Back then, when I was able to get my work permit, and I wasn't allowed to play sports because I had to help pay and help put food on the table for my family. In fact, one of my fondest memories, well, it's a happy memory now, but back then it was a nightmare because I remember telling my mom, she told me, hey, you got to go and find a job. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And unbeknownst to mom, I hear about basketball tryouts, and I go and I try out, right? And I'm on the court doing my thing, having fun with my friends, and all of a sudden, one of my boys go, Oos, I think I see your mom. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, she's walking in the gym. I don't know how the coconut wireless here is amazing. Never have cell phones back then. Somehow my mom found out, and she walks in the gym. And this is in the 80s now, where discipline was regular. It was a regular thing. And she pulled my ear, just like literally gave me lickings right there on the court in front of all my friends, in front of my coaches. And of course, the coach comes up and says, oh, Mrs. Faumuina, what happened? He goes, I'm so sorry, coach. My son was supposed to go and find a job, and I found out he lied, and he's here trying out for the basketball team. Right. And so the coach looks at me, he goes, I want you in my office tomorrow. Right. And so, of course, we leave. I'm all embarrassed. I show up to school the next day, and I get a note to go see the basketball coach, and I sit down with him, of course, all embarrassed, so shame. And he was like, hey, look, I know you want to play. That's awesome. But you got to take care of your family. And so I was actually, I thought about how I can help you because it's too bad that we won't be able to have you on the team. But my sister is one of the general managers at McDonald's. So
Okay.
I told her about you. Go ahead and here's her number. Here's the application. Fill it out. And you just fill out the application and you'll start work. So my first job was working at the McDonald's all the way in Waikiki. So that was my very first job. And so, it was because of that I learned this work ethic and I was able to explore and see so many things. It was awesome because, again, very poor. Our family was poor. We didn't have much, and so I didn't realize that when I started working at McDonald's on my first break, the manager goes, just make your food and go have your break. I was like, wait, I can eat? He was like, yeah, go eat. I was like, holy smokes. So I got money and I could eat. It was dope. I was like, holy smokes, this is cool. Again, you grow up without money and then now you have some. It was an amazing thing. So I was able to help and provide for my family during high school. So that was the coolest part. Yeah.
As good as, our Polynesian or Pacific Islander community, really instills that hard work ethic early on in early ages, I feel like that kind of might be a negative too, because it's like we grow up too fast. We don't get to enjoy our youth ages where really we supposed to grow up with no care in the world. You know what I mean? Just be a little kid, right? Or even a teenager. And sometimes, actually a lot of times, as we get older, we suppress all of those, I guess, feelings or whatever that we're not supposed to have, and have this strong front and hardworking ethic that, you know, it eventually comes out later, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, you know, we all of us, we could all agree that we're happy that we learned that at an early age. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that medium, right?
Yeah, it's like you missed that cycle.
Yeah.
Right. There's that cycle where you're a teenager, where you should be allowed to just be a teenager and just enjoy, right? Just go to school, play, have fun, do whatever you need to do, and then when you graduate, you move to that next stage in life. Yeah, and so I totally can see where you're coming from. Yeah, so I did for a good number of years that I missed that, and I didn't play sports. I wasn't able to because, and part of it was a choice too, because I remember I was a freshman and then a sophomore, so I worked at McDonald's for a couple of years. And then I always loved music. So music was just a big thing for me, and it helped me just, even till today, all challenging times and the things that I go through, I always will go back to music because that's my go-to, my happy place, my safe space, where I can just pull what I feel and just listen to that and then kind of just drift to that. And so music played an integral part for me. And, you know, me and some buddies of mine competed in this high school contest back then. It was called Brown Bags to Stardom.
Ooh, Brown Bags.
Yeah. So, you know, and so we entered it, and we rapped, we sang a cappella, and then we danced. Right. And so we make it to the finals, and we go up against a hula dancer, and the hula dancer wins. I hate her to this day. But no, I don't. No, I don't. Kimberly, I still love you, Kimberly. No, but again, right? You see, I learned in my life. There's a saying that goes, in every experience, there's a lesson and there's a blessing. And the moment you can find the blessing behind that lesson, therein lies then you will be successful, right? It's a lot of self-reflecting. And so we lose to the hula dancer. What we don't know, what we realize after is, as we're walking and we're leaving the auditorium, one of the judges comes up to us and he said, "Hey, so I really like what you guys did." And this guy was the regional rep for the company Bose. You know, the speaker, really fancy Bose. He's like, "Yeah, I really like what you guys did. So my wife sits on the board of for the DOE, for the Department of Education. We're looking for a program or someone to kind of be the flagship spokesperson for the Just Say No program, which is what's called DARE now." And so he was like, "So what you did tonight, can you put together like a 30 or 45-minute show of you guys saying just say no to drugs? You implement the dancing, you implement the singing, you implement the rapping inside." And we're like, and all of us look at each other with like, yeah, we have no idea. We're like, we don't know if this is going to work, but we all just like, yeah, I think we can do that. Right. And so we put this together, and then we go out and we actually perform like a 20-minute, like about a 20-minute show to the Board of Education directors. And they loved it. And they're like, "Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to launch this campaign. We're going to take you guys out of school." I'm like, "What? I don't have to cut school?" So like, "We're going to take you out of school. You're going to perform just island-wide to all the different schools. We're going to launch the Just Say No program." And as we were doing that, after our second show, I turned to the guy that was helping us, who became our manager. And I said, "Hey, look, we're missing one specific key component to this show that I think that'll just take it to the next level." So he's like, "Well, what is that?" So, "We need a DJ." He was like, "Oh, okay, we can do that." "Well, do you know of any DJ?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." Like, "Who is it?" Like, "Me." Bro, I never touched turntables, nor did I have anything. I just saw the opportunity. I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that," because I watched MTV.
Yeah,
you know, and
when it had music.
when they had music. Thank you. When they had music. So they had like Yo MTV Raps back then. And so I would record all of that and just say, "Oh, man, if I can get my hands on a pair of turntables, like this is what I like. This looks so much fun." So, and also at the same time, it was like we would get gear, like uniforms, turn like sweats, shoes, watches. And that was the first time in my life, I was 16 years old, that I ever had something brand new. Ever. like that stuff lasted like a good 5 years because it was my very first brand new something, because I've never had that. You know, every place I went was like either Goodwill, you know, and like, so shame, right?
Nah.
But
Nah, no shame. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
my family did it.
Yeah. We all
but
did
you know,
it.
as a kid, you're like, where
Oh,
are we
yeah.
going?
You
Like,
know, bro.
are you for real? Like, okay, mom,
You
you
don't
go
want
in.
nobody to see you as you walk in.
Yes, right. It was just like that. So I got my very first brand new shoes, brand new sweats, a brand new watch, and like I coveted that for a good 5 years, and I kept it like in the best condition I could because it was the first time I had something brand new that I actually was able to call my own. You know, and then I got into the DJ stuff, and then things just took off after then. Never stopped. Yeah.
Well, now we know why you got
Now
into
you know.
DJing, right? You know, it must
Now
be
you know.
it must be tough doing, because then obviously that turned into, you know, somewhat of a hobby, and you know, obviously making some funds from that or whatever, you know, the side business, right? You know, going back into the, you know, the police department and stuff like that, how much, like, how do you balance all of that, you know, with your life too, and then being a DJ, planning weddings and all that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that question a lot. Again, like how I mentioned, you know, the saying goes, if it's important, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. And so I always said to myself, to the day I can't stand or walk anymore, I'll keep DJing until that time comes. You know, no matter what I do in life. And so when I got into the academy, of course, I had to stop for 6 months because of training, and it didn't allow me to do anything. And I was able to work in a specific schedule after I graduated, where I was still able to do parties after, you know, and so it just balanced out. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I love being a DJ is because I go to work and I never get calls to like good stuff. That's what your previous guest was for. That's what the firefighters are for. They get the mahalo, hey, thanks, sir.
Yeah.
We get the opposite because they're in a crisis, you know, and so if you deal with that all the time, for unfortunately for many of our law enforcement officers out there, they don't have an outlet where they can just dump all of that opala, all of that rubbish. Well, that part for me was the DJ side, just a total opposite end of the pendulum, a different perspective, where this is my happy place. This is where I can have fun. This is where I can create fun and memories and be with people and just have a great time. And so I was able to dump all of that stuff that I would take from work and just leave it, and then come back work rejuvenated, refreshed, able to take on the community and whatever it, you know, it have me to do out there, and then just keep going back and forth. And so just being able to balance and find a way, and it works for me. I love it.
So how is it being like a Samoan, like Pacific Islander police officer? Like,
That's a great question. It's tough because when you're part of a really, really big family, you kind of tend to know almost everybody. And so one of the challenges for me is, how do you go up and you respond to a domestic violence case, and you get in there and all you see is the name, and maybe you don't recognize the name, but when you walk in, you immediately recognize the face. And then you walk in and they see you, and then they see your last name and they go, hey, Don, you can help me out or what? And that's the guy you have to arrest because he just beat up his wife. Right. And so I always, many times it's just giving them the opportunity to kind of just let them vent for a little bit, and then just sit down and just talk to them and say, hey, look, so this is how the law works, and this is what's going to happen. I know you're not going to like this. Like, I don't like it either, but we got caught here. You just got to understand, I have a job to do. But I'm going to tell you this. If it's a matter of you making me choose to feed my family or to save you, I got to feed my family.
Right.
I find that's such a better way to present it, as opposed to saying, okay, we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. That serves no purpose.
Yeah.
Right. But just being able to speak to them and giving them in a way where, like, okay, now you're having me jeopardize the stuff that feeds my family, keeps them sheltered,
Right.
you know, give them food and stuff. Or I say, nah, we just let you go. and then just forget all the policies and procedures, and then I get in trouble just because I want to help you. I can help you. I'm just not going to help you that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to the next question. Is what are some of the misconceptions that people might have about Pacific Islander officers, and then what are some misconceptions of like non-Islander officers? You know what I mean?
I think many times they take advantage because we are Polynesian. So even if we're not related, or maybe they don't know you. I remember several times when we have to take someone in, and they're like, "But you're our people. How could you do this to us?"
Yeah.
Thinking that because you come from a certain group, that we automatically gonna take your side.
Yeah.
And many times it's a challenge being able to balance between the two and navigating and letting them know I totally get it, I understand, but we didn't just show up randomly. We got called here, and so we have a job to do, and we'll do it the best way we can to help everybody. But and it seems like they expect it.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're entitled to it. Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're one of our own. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?" And then the insults come in, and
Yeah.
you just got to learn how to kind of just brush that off.
I think that I think that's an issue for a lot of the different races out there, cultures. It's
Sure.
it's because how the world is now. You know what I mean? Like the world, like I always tell this to people all the time. The world is such a brutal place that it segregates everybody from their own people and then from other people's too. When like I said, Kaleo, in the last episode, we're one human race. You know what I mean? We're all supposed to help each other. Am I saying that there's not going to be any violence here and there or whatever? No, of course there's going to be violence. That's why we have to come together as a human race to make this world a better place. And then when we're in that situation, like you were saying, like, oh, I'm one of your people. Like you're supposed to help me out. Like they use that as a crutch. You know what I mean? To try and not face the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. And the other challenge to that is then now you add social media, right? Because it's such a big influence on our younger generation. I mean, younger than you guys.
Yeah.
I can say that, right? Young because they'll follow that and they think that's how the world is.
Yeah.
Right. So the influence of how social media is, it's just crazy because now that's just another added level to say, well, I saw this on so-and-so, they do it like this. How come you're not, and then they break out their cameras and I've seen that many, many times too.
World star.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just like that. One of the cases I showed up again, another domestic violence. And as soon as I walk in, one of the family members, literally like just what you did, Starr, like phone right in my face. So like, get your phone out of my face. What are you doing? Like, well, I want to record you guys because there's no police brutality. I said, okay, you're more than welcome to film, but just film back there. And by the way, see this right here? It's my body camera. It's been on the moment I walked in. They're like, oh, and then they back off. Like, okay, that's your right.
Yeah.
Let's not be ignorant.
Like,
don't be ignorant.
Stop trying to make something out of nothing.
Correct. Yeah. just for likes.
So with that, then how do you balance the responsibilities of law enforcement and actually building a positive relationship with the communities? Like how are you guys like trying to make sure that there's more of a positive impact?
Yeah, Kaleo, it's such a challenge because there's you look at media, social media, and anytime anything law enforcement related, it's always something negative. You seldom ever see anything good about what our officers do because there's more of our good ones out there than the bad ones, right? But they only showcase the bad stuff and that small percentage, and so we're already walking in with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And so for me, my experience, the best way is really just to show them aloha and give them the aloha. And aloha doesn't also necessarily means that you're going to step all over me.
Right.
Like aloha could also be like, I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to be respectful of it, but I'm not going to allow you to treat me and talk to me in a certain way.
Yeah.
especially in specific cases where there is, and sorry, I keep referring to domestic violence, but I think that's one of the topics where people can relate to, and so I get it.
Yeah.
You're upset. I get it. You're mad, but I'm not your wife. So you're not going to talk to me like that because I'm not going to tolerate that, and so many times it's being firm, still being respectful. I think my favorite part is whether I pull over somebody or whenever I'm leaving a heated situation at the end, these people will say, "Hey, thanks, officer. I appreciate it. Sorry for bothering you guys." And it's never a bother. If it's something I can help you guys out with, it's never a bother for us because if we help you, then it's one less person we got to come back and respond to. And I get it. People are in a crisis. They get upset. They'll say things to insult us. They'll say personal stuff about me. And sometimes I'm not going to lie, because I'm human, it'll get to me. Sometimes I've reacted, in not the best light, but for the most part, I always got to remember, don't take it personal because it's just a job. They view me as, because they see the uniform. They don't see Don Faumuina as, the fun-loving guy, the DJ guy, the guy that's out there coaching in the community, does stuff with the kids. All they see is a police officer in a uniform. Yeah.
I mean, even people that know you as a police officer, they still see you as a police officer, even in your civilian clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that's like the forefront of what you do. Instead of while you're on the coaching field or the football field, you're the coach, but then they just see a police officer coaching their kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like how you mentioned, Starr, the misconception too, like I'll meet somebody for the first time and they have no idea what I do, where I come from, and we enjoy and we talk story and we laugh, and then later on, like say if I see them again, they'll come in like, "Wait, you're a cop?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a cop." He goes, "Well, it's funny because you don't act like one." Right? And so I was like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like I'm not an a-hole?" Well, like that's the reality. That's the reality, and it's so unfortunate. And so I always say this. I always say this when I get a chance to speak out in public on different forums. I always say, I'm the policeman you want to get pulled over by. And here's why. For me, if I pull you over, I don't know what your story is. I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. So like, for example, a couple of months ago, I work graveyard shift, midnights, and I work in Chinatown. Right. And so if you're familiar with the Aloha Tower area, I'm at a stoplight and I'm ready to drive because I get the green, and this van just comes speeding right past me. So they run the red light. My light is on. I go and I follow it, and that van runs the second red light. And then I light them up. Right. And then I pull them over. And as I'm walking, I see her. She's on her phone. I'm like, okay, 2 violations. I see that. And as she rolls her window down, I'm saying to myself, I wonder what's causing her to run 2 red lights. You can see me. This is like 1:30 in the morning, right? And you're on your phone, because you cannot say you didn't know that you're not supposed to be on your phone, because the law's been out for a while. And I get up to her window and I was like, "Hey, sister, my name is Officer Don. I'm with HPD. The reason why I pulled you over is you ran the red light. You almost hit me. And you're on your cell phone. What's going on, sis?" And she looks up at me, tears in her eyes, bawling. Her kids are in the back. This is 1:30 in the morning, and saying, "Oh, officer, I just found out my husband was cheating on me, and I'm trying to get to my sister's house, and I'm pissed off." So, at that moment, I can make 2 different choices, right? So I chose to not be the policeman, but be more the human, like how you're talking about, Starr, and just say, "You know what? I'm sorry this is happening to you. Get to your sister's house safely. It's super late. Your children are more important than your husband. I know that's easier said than done, but all I ask is that you stay off your phone and you drive safely. And I hope things turn out better for you." Like, she started crying even more. She's like, "Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me." Right? So, I mean, things like that. Like, I never know the kind of story that they have or what they're going through. I always, even when I was at training, my thing is always this: you always show them aloha until the moment they give you a reason not to. Then it's different, right? Then it's different, right? And so, and then at the same time, several nights after that, almost same scenario, lady on her phone runs the red light. I pull her over, and I walk up to the window, and the moment she puts the window down, before I even could say the first word, she gives me what I call the flat tire response. You know what that is? What you pull me over for? She says that. Kaleo, she says that. She's like, bro, what you pull me over for? As if it was my fault for doing my job. Right? And I was like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. Why the F you pulling me over for? I said, well, you're on your phone. You just ran 2 red lights. I don't even know if you realize you saw if I was behind you. I don't know if you saw that. She's like, okay, and I said, well, I need your license and your registration, because now I'm not going to give her anything. Like, I'm not going to give her a chance at that point. Right. And
Not
so
At that point, I feel like you can tell that she's just being belligerent at this point.
for
Like,
sure. For sure. Like, you could be mad with whoever you're talking to, but again,
Right.
I'm not your husband. So don't treat me like that.
Mhm.
Right? So don't make me the bearer of the person you want to attack now. So here's an advice for all you viewers out there. If a policeman pulls you, or a police officer pulls you over, you give them attitude, and if they walk around your car, you're dead meat. You know why they're walking around your car? Can the 2 of you guess why they would do that?
I mean, I know. Kaleo, you can guess because I was a cop in the military. I know why we walk around the car.
Yeah, you know why that, right, Starr? Why would you think? Because that's what I did. I did, and then I walked around her car. What do you think our purpose is for? Walking around her car.
I have no idea.
So then we look for every single infraction on that vehicle.
Mhm.
No.
Anything that's
Yes.
anything that's in plain
I'm always
view.
so respectful, so I would never
Yeah.
think of that. Like,
Right.
never. And I know if I had a violation, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry, I messed up. That there's
Yeah.
no reason for it. You know, here's my stuff. Like,
Oh
So
yeah,
I'll admit it.
yeah.
yeah, Kaleo.
So-
It's anything also in plain view. So like if you see an alcohol bottle that's like half drunken,
Oh.
you could stop them for that too.
Open container.
Open container, maybe a
Tint.
little, anything.
Tint, yeah. So I walk around her car, and then I take her stuff, paperwork, and I'm in the car and I'm writing. So every time there's a traffic stop, there's another officer will come and cover you. That's for safety reasons, right?
Yeah.
Because in Honolulu, or just in Hawaii or 808 state, we ride solo. Right. Whereas where you are, they're partners, right? They partner up. So there's an officer that covers. So my partner comes up and says, "Hey, can you just watch this lady because she's kind of giving a whole bunch of attitude. She's not very nice." And so I do the citation. I walk up. 8 citations later.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow.
8 citations later, she's on the phone and she's calling one of her police friends. Right. And she does well, my friend is Officer so-and-so here. I was like, wait, I don't want to talk. Who's that? And then she says the name, right? It's a male officer who I happen to know, who's a friend of mine. Right. And I said, who's that? He's like, oh, it's so-and-so. Here, you talk to him. I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. Why do I want to talk to him? He goes, well, I want to see if he can help me. I said, him being on the phone has nothing to do with what's going on right now. It has everything to do with you. So you can tell your friend, because he knows me and he knows the kind of person I am, right? And so I can hear him. He goes, hey, sister, hang up the phone because you're effed.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So it's a happy-go-lucky Don Faumuina. That's me, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, she chose to do something different. And so that's the aloha I give back to you, sister. Right? So I always see like a specific pattern. They snap, they're demanding, they got all of this, then they realize nothing is working. What do you think their last resort is?
Cold.
What emotion they go into? What is the emotion they go into? Kaleo?
Anger, crying.
Yeah. Then they start crying.
Yeah.
Then they
Give
start
you
crying. At the end.
everything, all the excuses.
Yeah. I said, well, you can cry and take this to court. Drive safely.
And then
Yeah.
because you said it like that, right? They could be like, "Oh, he's such an asshole."
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Like, let me call your supervisor. Like, yeah, I'm not going to call my supervisor. He's actually going to get pissed if he comes up because of stupid stuff like this.
Yeah.
And this is all on my body camera now. Full disclosure. Like, I say stuff like that because I feel I can justify it. Right.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like that to anybody. right? And like what I always tell my kids, and even when I was instructing the academy, is you just be kind to everybody because you never know until the moment they give you a reason not to.
Yeah.
That's our job. That's our job. I think that's what separates us from the rest of the world because we have this concept of what's called aloha. Like show the aloha first and then figure it out as you go. You know.
But
So.
you know, to that point, right? You know, show the aloha, be respectful, you know, just do your job, right? And then they you know, they start coming at you or whatever. Yeah, you know, match their energy, but do it in a respectful way. Like, cause I know a lot of cops up there, you know, they take it too far and then it leads to all of these, you know, police, you know, violence and all that stuff, which kind of sucks because it ruins, like I always say, there's those few bad apples in the bunch, right? And it ruins that image for, you know, people like you who are trying to like enforce the law respectfully in the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and absolutely, you know, it's always that small percentage that makes it much more difficult for the good ones that are trying to do good out in the community.
Mhm.
And yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I always say that.
The mantra of COVID, I swear.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
Ooh.
But we're gonna ask you probably a couple more questions because we are running short on time. But I do want to take this time to, you know, shout out to all the viewers. Thank you guys so much for coming here. Remember, again, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any episode. You know, we do have a lot more guests coming on. We will be having a Division I volleyball coach. And just to give you guys a little sneak peek, she is the very first Samoan female head coach at a Division I collegiate level. So we got that coming along, and you know, we probably might have a celebrity come on too. So just to give you guys a little heads up, again, if you guys are on Spotify, thank you guys so much for listening, watching. Make sure you rate the show and follow the show if you guys want to see more. I do have a lot of shorts on there that have short clips, short snippets of each episode. You guys can go ahead and enjoy those clips and stuff. So thank you guys so much for being here. And we will be right back with these messages. Roll it. What's up, all you podcast lovers? I just want to take a break and tell you guys a little bit about Roots Global Entertainment. These guys are all about the streaming, gaming, and creating some awesome content that'll keep you entertained for hours on end. With Roots in Hawaii, they've got a unique perspective on the world of entertainment that's sure to keep you engaged. And if you're looking for more ways to keep up with their latest releases, their latest posts, or whatever it may be, check out their website at rootsglobalentertainment.com. Whether you're into gaming, streaming, or just love content, great content, Roots Global Entertainment has got you covered. And let's get back to the podcast.
Before the pandemic, I was doing like 50, 60 weddings a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so now, because things are opening up, like all of the stuff that was backed up are coming out now. So like I'm doing a lot of weekday weddings and catching up. And so the last time I streamed was about a month ago. One of my mods, my original mods, she caught she had a stroke and then had an aneurysm and she just died. So we did like a memorial stream for her, and I had all these other DJs that we did a raid train on her behalf, and I was able to raise $7,000 for her family.
Oh my gosh,
You know,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and then I just and so I'm trying to get back and do a regular schedule back on Twitch. I miss it. I just did a raid train yesterday, but usually like Sundays I'll do like a chill vibe set. Monday I'll do an all local set, just all local music from Polynesia. And like then Wednesday, which by the way, like I don't be surprised, I'll reach out to you guys. So I actually do a talk show Wednesday. It's called Wisdom Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I see it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I do a Wisdom Wednesday talk show and we go live. Right.
Okay.
And it's really just talking about just really getting to know you guys and then talking about adversity. And then which is why I share a lot of quotes, because my other side business is I do professional and personal development for companies.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh,
so
you're just like the jack of all trades and master of all.
Master of none.
No. But it's like yeah, that'd be cool to you know.
Yeah.
Well, Kaleo has
So-
better quotes than me then, so she can.
No. I mean, it's just to have the both of you, and then plug your show, plug your podcast, you know, and tell the Twitch
That'd be
community.
cool. That'd be
make that
cool.
switch over to TikTok and add TikTok too. So yeah,
That'll be cool because I've been reaching out to other podcasts and trying to be guests on there, and then
yeah,
okay,
yeah. I mean, it's yeah. That's always one of my things about. Like, I love our Polynesian people, and I think you talked about that because that's kind of where, like, it was probably one of the first clips that I saw on TikTok was yours, and how people would bag on you because if you're Samoan but you weren't born in the motherland,
Yeah.
you live on a continent, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's bagging on each other, and I always have I have a challenging time about that. Just not just Samoans, but just Polynesians in general. Like when you refer a lot to The Rock, like yes, he doesn't speak the language, but look at what he's doing on behalf of not just our people, but everybody.
The whole
When they see
how much more awareness has come out from like, the
absolutely
actual differences between all of them?
absolutely, like why are we bagging on this guy when his platform is literally global?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's global, and he's portraying us in the best way possible. And then you want to shoot this guy down? Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna have that.
Like,
yeah, no
that
thanks.
that is literally how we weren't raised. We weren't raised to shoot other people down. We were raised to lift others up.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. It's I mean, really, it's out of jealousy. It's out of just hatred, and mostly jealousy because it's like, oh, I don't got that.
It's insecurity.
Insecurity, yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. They're just insecure of themselves, period.
Yeah.
Right? And if not The Rock, somebody else.
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody else, yeah?
Because I even seen some hatred towards the Uso brothers, the other, the brother wrestlers.
Yeah, Roman Reigns and all those other guys, yeah.
Even like Rikishi, like a bunch of like, I mean, they like, don't get me wrong. If you guys are listening, like there is so much, love that we have for our peoples that are representing in the world. But there's always, like I said, there's always those bad apples that.
And then on the opposite side, you have this, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And so like if we're doing like a Wisdom Wednesday, like one of the quotes I would share is, what they hate in you is missing in them. Keep shining. Just keep going. Yeah. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. Yeah, it's a direct reflection of who they are and what they want to be. They just not going to admit, or they just so insecure that they can't see it. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just like how I've been saying now, twinkle twinkle, baby, twinkle twinkle. You see, you know that movie that The Rock was in, Be Cool.
Yes.
And they was like, stop hating, man. Start participating.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, we're back. We got a couple more questions, and then we're gonna start ending the show. Before we ask those final questions, I appreciate you again, Don, for being here. Such a small world that you obviously know my family, and
Yes, I do.
Honestly, when I first saw your page and all that stuff on TikTok and in Twitch, I'm like, man, this guy looks so familiar. So it's I probably saw you at one of the nightclubs, maybe Zanzibar when it was open, or Mai Tais when it was Mai Tais. but my family, so that's crazy.
I do. It's crazy. And I probably know Kaleo's family if we still talk stories.
Probably. But yeah, let me go with this question, and then Kaleo will ask the final question. So here is going to be one that you probably have a lot of, but what can you share maybe one or two particular memorable experiences being in the police department? I don't know, whatever, like if you went on a call, it could be like a super, like, I don't know, traumatic one, or it could be like a super positive one where you just seen the love. So like, yeah, what was one of your memorable experiences in the past 23 years?
Oh gosh, I think the challenge for me is which one do I choose?
right.
So let me share a few of them. So at one point in my career, I belonged to a unit, and we were called the community police team. And our job was to go out into the communities that we work in, the specific area. And we would speak with businesses, schools, faith-based organization, and nonprofits, and find out what are some of the issues and concerns that they had in the community. And then our job was to collaborate with the community members and come up with some type of project. Right. And so I was with this unit for about, I want to say 3 or 4 years. And within those 4 years, we did several different projects. We did one with the homeless where we actually went into all the Waikiki hotels and we solicited all their shower products. So, like the soaps and the shampoos that wasn't used. When guests would leave, the house cleaning people would come and they'll take it and then they'll replace it with brand new ones.
Yep.
So we'd take all these old ones and we called it Project SOAP. So SOHP. And it's an acronym that stood for Serving Our Homeless Population. So we literally had pallets of these because so many of the hotels actually jumped on it. And then we would take it to like a food bank area, and then they would hand it out to the homeless people to help them so they can have some type of cleaning, have cleaning products for them that they could take for free. So we did that. Of course, we fed the homeless people. The department is still does one annually, and we wanted to focus on our kupuna. And so we did a project where it was just for our elders, and it was called Aloha Nuna Kupuna, which means the love for our elders. And it was a senior conference where we'd bring in people. They would talk about what you can do with your medication, just things for health and wellness. They was able to do their checkups if they needed shots. So we did that with them. But my favorite project we did is we worked with the youth group. And it was a project that we came up with, and it was called Project Think. And Think is an acronym that stood for To Help Inspire Neighborhood Kids. So we partnered up with a faith-based organization, and every Sunday they would pick up about 70 to 80 kids that would come from the housing projects, and they would go to church. And so we took these kids and we created this project where in July for 4 weeks, we actually had them, and we partnered up with all these community members, and we had them go into the farms, and I actually had them work pulling weeds, tilling the soil, planting, harvesting, and then being able to package and learning the business side. They were taught a business and economics class. We had them going to we had them in Chinatown where they would do service projects, and then the restaurants would actually feed them and then give them the history of Chinatown, right?
That's
And
cool.
so it was always a reciprocal thing where the kids, now these are youth that ranges from the age of 13 to 18. And, Hilo Hatties, when it was in business back then, partnered up with us, and they did an online store where the kids actually would design their own shoes, and then they would sell it online. And all the proceeds, the profits would actually go back to Project Think, so we could help fund this project. And so that was actually one of my favorite projects that I did with the kids.
I love that.
Yeah, the other two that I'm very, very proud of, and right before the pandemic, the lip sync challenge was big throughout all the different law enforcement agencies throughout the nation. And of course, Hawaii being Hawaii, we came in late. I actually put a proposal and actually spoke to our police chief directly, and I said, hey, so there's this lip sync challenge, and I sent him a couple of links to YouTube links, and then I said, I want you to check this out. I said, I want to propose, I want to do a lip sync challenge representing our department, right? And so it was our female chief at the time. She's like, Don, I love this. How do we make this work? I said, well, first of all, you'll have to special assign me to the production unit, because we had a video production crew for the department, and if you could allow me to do this. She's like, okay, how long it's going to take? I said, well, it might be a month. She's like, okay, you have 2 weeks. I was trying to stretch it. She's like, you have 2 weeks. I said, okay, I got you, boss. And so we put this production together, and then we decided on what song do we choose that will represent Hawaii, not just the department, but really represent and represent the 808 state, and what would be the song that will epitomize who we are as a culture, right? And so my wife is a musician, so I just so happened to reach out to her and say, hey, can I get the number to Danny Kennedy? Danny Kennedy belongs to the Mana'o Company. He's the original person that actually wrote the song, Spread a Little Aloha.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ALOHA song. So I reached out to Danny. I said, hey, Danny, I'm doing this project. It's going to be with the police. And here's what it's all about. Danny goes, brah, do it, Us. I love it. Thank you for even thinking about us. So we do the lip sync challenge. So if you go to YouTube, type of Honolulu Police lip sync challenge, you're gonna see our video. And then a year later, the next law enforcement challenge came up was the Get Up challenge. I'm not sure if you remember that song, right?
I remember.
Yeah. So then again, I talked to the chief again. I say, hey, I want to do another one. Here's the Get Up challenge. This time I want to make it a little bit different because I want to work with the kids. She's like, go ahead, do it, right? And so there's 2 videos out there on YouTube that has the Honolulu Police Department Get Up challenge. The other one is the lip sync. So the second one, I'm actually in it, and I dance with the kids. And both of them, I think the first one has like 140,000 views. The second one has about almost 250. But being able to leave like a legacy like that, like for me, like, oh man, so awesome.
Yeah,
It's so dope.
definitely. I remember
That's
seeing
so
the lip sync one when it first came out. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Hawaii. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So I produced and directed that. So yeah, that was my babies, those 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
not even, bro. I just came up with the idea. The camera guys, like they'll
It's a
do
lot of
edit.
work. It's a lot of work.
Bro, like I so much mad respect for you guys because the editing, I didn't realize the amount of time that it took. Right. And you know how it is, right? You're the one that's working, and then here comes the stupid, overly sensitive boss that shows up and like, hey, I like that, but can you change it? And and they're looking at me like, for real, trust me, just trust me. Right. And then like they would change it and they're like, oh yeah, I like that. You know,
Yeah.
but the guys were so cool. They were so easy, so much fun to work with. The community had such a great time. But yeah, when you get a chance, check it out. Like I love it. And I actually play it on my Twitch channel every once in a while. Yeah.
There you have it. Hey, if you guys want to check it out, the link will be down below. I will get that for you.
Yes. So tell me, what advice would you give to young people who are considering being in law enforcement, and a little bit more specifically into Pacific Islander community?
Yeah. Aim higher.
Aim higher.
This stupid kid from Kali, he can do it. Anybody can do this. No, seriously, look, it's all about choices. I think one of the things that I was blessed with, you know, being grown up in the housing projects, seeing a lot of my friends getting arrested, going to jail. Some of them have passed on, whether it be substance abuse or other choices. I think it's the choices that I made that literally ultimately set me up for what I was able to do for the rest of my life. So I was definitely afraid of my mom. My mom's about 5'1". My dad's 6'3". And my mom was the hammer. She was the enforcer. So I was very afraid of her. And because I love and I respect my mom so much, I think part of that allowed me to, you know, when it came to a challenging scenario, we're like, do I do this and just reap the consequences after, or just like, nah, just leave it alone? You know, it's about making the right choices. And even if you don't, just being able to pick yourself up, be accountable, fix it, and then move forward. It's really, it takes a lot for you to not get into the Honolulu Police Department. Like literally, all you need, the minimum requirements is either a GED or a high school diploma, which is what I only have. I just have a high school diploma. I went to college for a month, realized, like, what are you doing? This is not for you. I left, and here I am sitting before you 23 years later with 2 different businesses, right? Because I realized, like, look, school's not for me, but I understand how business works and being able to partner up with the right people. So I always say, make the choices that will benefit you, right? Because there's benefits and consequences in everything that you do. Number 2, just know this, as a Polynesian, there's so many people that you represent. You don't just only represent your family. I realized that when I became a cop, that I represent so many of the retirees, of the officers that came before me. The name on my chest bears my father's name. I represent my forefathers that came before me. The police department that I represent the kupuna and many of those that came before me, to include the plight of the indigenous people that are native to this land. Like, that's the responsibility and the kuleana that I bear. And if you can understand that, and if you have that mindset, then like that's the kind of people that we need. that you'd be able to set yourself up, and so, so much responsibility, but the rewards are great because it has allowed me to literally do so many things where I never thought I would be able to do because of who I am, and I'm able to serve the community. I hope that makes sense.
Oh no, that
That makes sense. It made me teary-eyed.
Oh, sorry.
I was feeling it, and then I saw Kaleo like, whoo, and I was
Like
like,
trying to
sorry.
fan my eyes.
Yeah.
no, man, that's what it's all about, man. It's
Yeah.
really about remembering where you came from, who you represent, and we all of us, no matter the whole Pacific Islander culture, Fijians, Samoans, Tongans, Hawaiians, everybody, we all are taught the same thing. Remember where you
Yeah.
came from, and
Yeah.
know who you're representing and who you're eventually gonna make proud of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The greatest comment I hear, or compliment that I get is, I remember just right up the street in Camphor Road, there's an elementary school called Kaivai, right
Ooh.
next to the police station,
Yep.
right outside of Camphor Housing. And one of my dear friends, one of my close high school classmates, his wife works there. So she calls me a couple months ago, like, "Hey, Don, we need an hour playlist because we're going to do a dance for our kids here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let me know." But then I procrastinate, right? And so the week before, she's calling, "Yeah, just following up." I'm like, "Oh." So I call her up. I said, "Katie, what time is this?" She goes, "Oh, it's Tuesday, and it's only going to be from like 1 to about 2:30. I said, "You know what? I'm not going to do a mix. I'm actually going to DJ it." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah. Let your principal know that I'm going to come in and I'm going to DJ this for the kids." Right? And she's like, "Well, I know you're expensive. How much do you charge?" I'm like, "I didn't ask you for money. Like, I'm going to do this for the kids." She's like they were so excited. I get in there. I start like the kids, the teacher, like the smiles on their faces, like so rewarding. And so I'm done. I'm breaking down and I'm taking my equipment. And I want to say maybe she's a 5th grader, and I know she's and I'm not sure exactly which background she's from, but she's Micronesian, right? And so she looks at me and she goes, "Uncle, are you Micronesian?" I said, "I'm not, but I also represent you guys." She goes, "Oh, one day I want to be like you."
Aww.
Like, I'm like, "Bruh." like that paid for it right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I think that is the kuleana. That's the responsibility that we have, all of us, the three of us, right? To inspire the next generation by us just going out and serving others. I find no greater joy than being able to serve people without asking or expecting anything back. Like it's just me. Yeah.
That's so hard for me not to like have a moment of like, how is that like a thing that not everybody is
Yeah.
that way? Because I was so enveloped in that growing
Yes.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, man. Sometimes we just don't know, but it is what it is.
Just don't know.
And with that, man, we're coming to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for hanging here with us. And we always do this with every guest. And we know that you said a lot of quotes already, but what is one, if you had to choose one, what is one saying that you try to live by?
Les Brown. I'm not sure if you know who he is. Very famous, iconic, motivational speaker. And Les Brown said this. He said, "Live your life the way you want to leave your life." I think many times the true self-reflection happens when, my wife's Tutu, her grandmother, is in hospice. So they're going to go and visit her this weekend because I think she's like 98 years old, and she's hardworking Portuguese lady, worked hard her life, and she's coming towards the end of her life. But the story she keeps saying, like, "I'm tired. I just want to let you know I love you guys. I want to know that," it's always a self-reflection when you're on your last moments. You realize, I wish I did more, So I love that, because you live your life like how you're going to leave your life. Like, if you were to do it all over again, what would you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we think there's so much time left. Tomorrow's promised to no one. We all know that.
Always, bro. Always
Yes.
like, oh, I got time. No, you don't.
Tomorrow. You don't know.
Monday.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's funny, man. That was a good one, man. That was for sure a good one. Kaleo, you got any final words for Don before we head on out?
Oh my gosh. This was an experience. I learned so much, and some of the wisdom that you brought tonight that I don't think everybody necessarily is going to catch the first time around. Because even me being here, like now, some of the stuff I'm still processing. I'm like, wow, like, So thank you. Thank you for
Oh,
joining us.
well, thank you. Thank you for having me. No, I mean, if I could share one last thing with you
Go ahead.
guys, and um, I know you mentioned like what was the process or how did you want to become a policeman? Um, so there's, I want to say in 1998, Palolo Valley, if you're familiar with that area. My parents were living there at the time. I wasn't here. I was actually living on the continent at the time, but my dad and 6 other members of my ohana were killed in a fire.
Wow.
The first responders were the police officers. And of course, firefighters came after. When I joined the police department, 2 of the guys that actually were at the scene came up to me. He goes, "Wait a second, are you the Faumuina that had the fire in Palolo?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was my dad." Then he goes, "I just want to let you know I was there. I'll let you know that your mom." My mom used to work at a gas station on Wailai Ave. We used to always go to your mom's gas station and have soda and coffee there. But I remember that night because we would see your mom, and your mom knew who we were, and so the comfort that she took and they took because they knew her, and just seeing full circle that her son became a policeman, like it was so emotional for us, and so the reason why I bring that up is as you go throughout the journey of your life, you never know how it turns full circle, and because of who you talk to, because of the influence and the inspiration of this specific podcast and previous ones and future ones that you'll be doing, you never know where it takes you because you never know who's watching. And I commend you guys for this, and I love what you guys do. And if you don't know already, within the last hour or so of me, if there's any way how I can help and support you guys, I'm just a phone call away or whatever, and let me know how I can share my mana'o or my support in all that you guys do.
Yeah,
Mao.
for sure. Yeah, we'll probably try to bring you back on, maybe if we should down the road. So
Yeah.
appreciate you, Don. And yeah, as we always say, Kaleo, take us out with your final words.
Oh my regular. Remember to be uniquely you because it's the best thing that you could ever do, and I'm proud of you.
And I always say, yes, sir, bless her, baby. That's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are out.